Greetings and hi. Okay, I've just received another comment under one of my Indigo Adults book read video here titled The Nature of Indigo Souls, Freedom, Vision, Truth, Sense Need to Grow. Anyway, let's go to the comments and see what it's saying. Now, I don't know how to say that. Z or ZAEO. So, she's saying, my comments on your older videos aren't showing up for some reason. I'll write it here. I saw the telepathic video of what he taught was corrupted. It seems like during Islamic history I was learning about two different Muhammads. One that was preaching forgiveness and one that killed in the name of religion. I think one thing the real Muhammad was trying to teach is as within, so without, as above, so below, because the Sufi whirling dervishes, when they whirl, they have their right hand pointing up towards the heavens and their left hand pointing down towards the earth. I still think Islam is legit in some ways. One night I was feeling very depressed and failing my classes, and I couldn't sleep because I was crying so hard. So in my head for a long time I kept repeating La ilaha illallah, and then my heart felt very cold and peaceful and I stopped crying, as I couldn't cry anymore because I felt very happy and was able to go to sleep. It's kind of a feeling that can't be explained. And when I was 14, on Laylatul Qadr, I prayed for knowledge, and then like a few months later, or in a few months, I came across many different people and online channels that really opened my eyes. I'm 17 now and I definitely know more, but it's confusing and I don't want to overdo it. I hope you don't mind me asking, but do you have any specific opinion on the veil or hijab Muslim women wear? I don't think too highly of it because I've been forced to wear it since I was 8. I've even read about some people who don't believe it's part of Islam. I don't think Islam is supposed to be oppressing people, but it's the culture. Yeah. Are you sure? You're only 17? Hey, sweetie. Are you sure you're only 17? Because you sound beyond your years. You sound, beyond your years, as the expression goes. As far as your comments not showing up on my older videos, I don't know what's going on there because, I can see this comment has come through from you, but no, I have not seen other comments from you. It could be something to do with YouTube. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there with that. But this comment has come through. So I would suggest that, and not just to you, but to others who would come across this video whenever. I mean, if you leave a comment under my videos and it doesn't show up, then please try again and try until it shows up. And if you can see it, then hopefully that means that I'd be able to see it as well. But anyway, this comment has come through, and yeah, I'm gonna try and reply to this and respond to this to the best of my ability. Okay, okay, you're saying here that it seems like during Islamic history I was learning about two different Muhammads, one that was preaching forgiveness and one that killed in the name of religion. Yeah, again, it's history, and history has been written by who? History has been written by men. And if they didn't spare the Quran in terms of the Quran being corrupted and the teachings being distorted, and a lot of the original teachings from Prophet Muhammad were destroyed and burnt. So there's a lot that's not even there in the Quran because it was simply destroyed and it was simply burnt. So then how can we completely trust what's written in history 100%? How can we completely trust that whatever is written in Islamic history is valid 100%? I mean, some of it can be valid, but perhaps not all of it. And so with everything, as I keep saying, we need to have discernment. And in terms of you coming across many different people and online channels, and you not wanting to be confused and not wanting to overdo it, sure, be careful with that. As I said, there is a lot of misinformation and there is a lot of misguidance out there on the World Wide Web. So you need to have discernment with that as well. But since you're saying that you were praying and asking for knowledge, even if it was at the age of 14 and now you're 17, but trust and know that your prayers have been answered, and you've been divinely guided to my YouTube channel here by God, or if you want to call it Allah, then by Allah. Okay? So you've ended up in the right place here. I mean, you've been guided to the right place here now, to my YouTube channel. Okay, you're asking if I have any specific opinion on the veil or hijab Muslim women wear. I knew this would come up at some point, just like I knew that Quran 4:34, which is about beating women and wives, would come up. And I remember that you were the one who asked me about that as well. And I did answer in a video, just like I am doing now. And then you're saying, I don't think too highly of it because I've been forced to wear it since I was 8. Yeah. See, that's where the problem lies. When people are forced to do something. Especially women. And when people force women to do something, or when women are forced to do something, and in this specific context, women being forced to wear the veil or the hijab, as I said, that's where the problem lies. Well, Muslims are supposed to follow Prophet Muhammad and his sunnah. Sunnah means his actions, or how he led his life. Does that mean that now that I have reincarnated, that Muslims are supposed to follow me now? I don't know. I'm just putting that question out there because I'm not here to force religion or anything down anyone's throat, like everyone has been doing when it comes to religion in general, and when it comes to the 3 mainstream religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam in particular. And when it comes to Islam, that's what's been happening ever since Prophet Muhammad's physical death. When it comes to me, and I'm sure that when Prophet Muhammad was alive, and or if Prophet Muhammad was alive now, that he would do the same, and that he would tell you the same as I am going to tell you now, I will let Muslims and people in general choose that for themselves, and I will let you choose for yourself. Why? Because we all have free will. We all have been given free will by God or by Allah. I don't know if you already know about this or not, but perhaps you should look up the universal law of free will, or you can also call it God's law of free will. Here we have the universal law of free will. Now this is just a quick definition here. It says universal law of free will, or the law of free will says you are the boss of your life. It doesn't matter what you do, the choice is yours. So that's what the universal law of free will, or the law of choice, tells you. And that's what God or Allah or even Prophet Muhammad, if he was alive, would tell you. But Prophet Muhammad is not here because I have reincarnated. So now I am here, and so I will tell you the same. You need to know about the universal law of free will, or God's law of free will. And that's what it says, that you are the boss of your life, and that the choice is yours. You have free will choice to choose for yourself. So, and I mentioned this in my Quran 4:34 video as well, Quran chapter 4 verse 34, on beating women and wives. I mentioned this in that video as well, but I mentioned it in different words, as in where I mentioned that I was told from my own soul and from the divine or God, or whatever label you want to put on that universal force or universal energy, told me that I am my own authority. So that is the same as I am the boss of my own life, and the choice is mine when it comes to my life and even my body. Okay? So you have the free will choice to choose whether you want to wear a veil or a hijab or not. God is not forcing any woman or any Muslim woman to wear a veil or a hijab. As you said, it's coming from culture. and that sort of thing. And where is this universal law of free will, or God's law of free will, mentioned in the Quran? Let me show you. Here, Quran chapter 2, verse 256, where it says, there is no compulsion in religion. That is the same thing as the universal law or God's law of free will. There is no compulsion in religion, because you've been given, and we all have been given, free will choice from God. So when the Quran is telling you here that there is no compulsion in religion, then I don't understand why Muslim women are being forced to wear a veil or a hijab. Where is that coming from? It's not coming from God. It's not coming from Allah. It's not even coming from the Quran, because in the Quran here it's saying there is no compulsion in religion. So then where is that coming from? And you're right. You already know the answer. It's coming from culture and that sort of thing, mainly. And you know, even if it's coming from some hadith or hadith, then I will have to look into that hadith or hadith, and I will have to look into the historical context of it. And I will have to question if Prophet Muhammad actually did say something like that. Or if that's also been made up by men after the death of Prophet Muhammad. Like, I would have to question it, and I would have to look into it and see if it actually came from Prophet Muhammad or not. Okay? And even if it came from some hadith or hadith, still, hadith or hadith is not God. Hadith or hadith has not come from God, or it's got nothing to do with God or Allah. Because I've already told you what has come from God. So yeah, you can reflect on that, and everyone else can reflect on that too. Now, let me show you another something from the Quran. Quran chapter 24, verse 30. In that verse, it is said that tell the believing men to lower their gaze. That is the main point. That is the key point. Tell the believing men to lower their gaze. Now tell me, how many people, how many Muslims, and how many men in general even know about this verse of the Quran? Or how many have forgotten about this verse of the Quran? Or how many Muslims don't even bother to mention and bring up this particular verse of the Quran? And I would also question, why is it that men are not being forced to lower their gaze all the time? Why? Why is it only women that are being forced to wear a veil or a hijab, but men are not being forced to lower their gaze? Why do women have to always be oppressed and do all the work? You know, I don't even have words right now. Another thing I want to say, there are plenty of Muslim women all over the world in many different countries, even in non-Muslim countries, who wear a veil or a hijab or a burqa or a chador. But let me just give the example of Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, Muslim women are forced to wear a black. Notice the color black. They are forced to wear a black burqa from head to toe. In a country that gets the hottest temperatures for most of the year, if I'm not wrong about that. I think it is for most of the year. And the color black absorbs the most heat. Like, I personally wonder, how are women in Saudi Arabia even able to breathe out of that thing? It's like Muslim women are being oppressed to the extreme when it comes to that kind of thing, and when it comes to that kind of example. And it's not just an example, it's reality. It's like, what? Men don't even want to let us breathe? Because they are unable to have respect in their eyes, in their mind, and in their hearts for us. Because men are unable to keep a clean mind and keep their mind clean from unclean thoughts, when that is their responsibility. No, they throw that responsibility onto us women as well. Oh, cover yourself from head to toe, and we don't care if you're going to be able to even breathe out of that thing. But, if you don't cover, then you're gonna make us have dirty thoughts or something, and that is your fault. What? How is that a woman's fault? It's your eyes. Now I'm talking to the men here, or about the men. It's your eyes. And in the Quran, I've just shared that verse. That verse says you're supposed to, or men are supposed to, lower their gaze, have respect in their eyes, and resist any unclean thoughts that may come to their mind, and have respect in their eyes, in their minds, and in their hearts towards women. It doesn't matter what they're wearing, or if they are covered from head to toe or not. And even when, that's the irony, even when women are covered from head to toe in a burqa or in a chador or in a hijab or in a veil, whatever, do we not all know what women or what men do? Men would still undress a woman with their eyes, with their mind, and with their eyes. It doesn't matter if she is covered from head to toe. Men will still undress her with their eyes and in their minds. So is there even any point in a woman being covered from head to toe, being oppressed, especially in a country and an environment that gets the hottest temperatures and heat wave for most of the year, and then they're being forced to wear the color black on top of that? When the color black absorbs the most heat, how do they even breathe in that thing? How are they even able to breathe in that thing? And who came up with that genius idea? Oh yeah, you're living in a hottest country where you have the hottest temperatures for most of the year, and you have to wear the color black from head to toe, which absorbs the most heat. Like, who came up with that genius idea? Duh. If anything, they should be wearing the color white, because the color white absorbs the least heat. But I guess, color white, it'll still be kind of see-through or transparent enough that, men could still kind of see through. What the? I have to calm myself down right now. It's just, it's mind-boggling to someone like me of how men and society in general and cultures in general are hell-bent on oppressing women, and especially Muslim women, and especially when it comes to things like the veil or hijab, or women having to cover up from head to toe or as much as possible. Because men don't want to do any work, because men don't want to do their part, because they don't want to lower their gaze, they don't want to, keep their minds clean of dirty thoughts. They don't want to have respect in their hearts for women. Basically, men don't want to do their part. They don't want to have to do any work. So yeah, we'll just oppress the women and put all the blame onto the women. If we are having, dirty thoughts because, oh, a woman is not covered up head to toe, then it's a woman's fault. Oh, it's not our fault. It's our mind. It's our eyes. We are the ones who are having dirty thoughts. We are the ones who are staring at her. But oh no, it's her fault because she's not covered head to toe. How dare she? Please. Please. Stop that nonsense now. Okay, let me calm down here. And let me finish off by saying that I've told you what God says about it. I've told you what the Quran says about it. And that is the guidance coming from God and coming from me as the reincarnation of Aisha, as the reincarnation of Prophet Muhammad's wife, Aisha. Every woman, and especially every Muslim woman, has the free will choice to wear a veil or hijab if she chooses to. If she wants to do it out of her own free will, fine. But if she does not want to, then she does not have to. Just like she can choose to wear a veil or a hijab or a chador or a burqa, she can also choose to not wear a veil or a hijab or a burqa or a chador. Because she's been given that choice. She's been given that free will choice by God. And no one should be forcing any woman or any Muslim woman in particular to wear a veil or a hijab if she doesn't want to. If she wants to, if she chooses that for herself out of her own free will choice, fine. But if not, then Quran 2:256. Quran chapter 2:256 says there is no compulsion in religion. You cannot force a woman to wear a veil or a hijab or a chador or a burqa against her will. Not against her will. I'm going to leave it there. I need to calm down. But I felt the same when I was asked about Quran chapter 4 verse 34 about beating women and wives. And I'm feeling the same way now again with this topic, and I was expecting these questions to come in at some point, but these are very sensitive topics, and on a personal level, all of this I'm very sensitive to these kind of issues when it comes to women, and especially Muslim women, on a personal level. So if I get a bit, heat it up, then I'm being my authentic self. And that's what I am always encouraged to do and to be by God, by my spirit guides, the divine. Label it whatever you want to label it. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I am being guided to do by God, by the divine, and by spirit, and by my spirit guides. Okay, I hope that helps. Okay, sweetie, you take care.